This presentation discusses the law school resume. So the first question is, what makes a law school resume different than any other resume? Generally speaking, a law school resume highlights your accomplishments generally, not your ability to perform a specific function. So in a job resume, you're often tailoring your experiences to show that you can complete a specific task. A law school resume is more generally demonstrating skills, highlighting interests, and showing how you've managed your time in college or after college. Practically speaking, this means that a law school resume can be 2 pages. Always check a specific school's requirements, but generally speaking, schools allow for a 2-page resume. And given the breadth of a law school resume, people often take 2 pages. So the next question is, how do you describe your accomplishments in a law school resume? Laszlo Bock, Resume Guru, has an article, My Formula for a Winning Resume. That formula is accomplished X as measured by Y by doing Z. I think it's a great formula for any type of resume, law school resumes included. Now that middle part, as measured by Y, essentially means that you should quantify, you should give a number whenever you can. But when it comes to actually writing out the bullet points, describing what you've done, the formula is accomplished X by doing Z. Let's take a look at that formula. So first, it describes specific accomplishments, not vague responsibilities. So you never want to say something like managed day-to-day office tasks. Instead, you want to specifically say tracked over $700 of weekly office supply usage using Excel spreadsheets. Right? One, the specificity shows that you actually did that. The ability to come up with a specific number adds credibility to the bullet point. And 2, by explaining how you managed the office supplies, you're demonstrating transferable skills. You're showing that you can use Excel, you're showing that you have attention to detail, that you can create spreadsheets. So even a really mundane throwaway line like manage day-to-day office tasks, when written according to this formula, can actually demonstrate some important transferable skills. Another great thing about this formula is it puts the results first and the context later. Right? People, when they're skimming your resume, and yes, law school admissions officers are likely skimming your resume, they are attracted to accomplishments, not context. That's what you want to lead with. So instead of saying something like worked in team of 3 to produce one 30-minute podcast on US housing market every week, you'd say produced weekly 30-minute podcast on US housing market in 3-person team. If for whatever reason you think that 3-person team is important, you can include it. But the headline here is that you produced a podcast, not that you had 3 people sitting around with you. Finally, keep the language simple. Focus on the accomplishment, how you did it. Law schools are not impressed by what they can't understand. It doesn't matter how many fancy words you have in the line. If someone reads it and doesn't know what you're talking about, they're not going to think that it's a good resume. That is the law school resume.